Hello, this is a podcast about gossip, dirty laundry, chitter-chatter, and backfence prittle-prattle. In each episode Joe Wilkinson, David Earl, and Poppy the postwoman invite you lot, the lovely listeners, to send in any juicy gossip you might have heard over the years. At the end of each episode they will then choose their favorite bit of gossip and help spread it around the world. So, without further ado, welcome to Glistening Mackerel. No. Godson's Measles. No. Gravestones Mossy. No. Gossipmongers.
Yes.
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 Gossipmongers. Yes. That's the one. That's the baby. Gossipmongers. Bloody right it is. Let's do this. Let's listen to some gossip. That's what Gossip number 1.
This is from Mark. As a 15-year-old in the last year of senior school in Hull, a friend of mine managed to successfully secure a Saturday job in Comet. The pay was pitiful and the prospects were too, but, being a bit thick, Craig decided this would be an ideal career choice.
Being a bit thick.
Signing up for full-time boredom with the retail giant as soon as he'd left school. It was not long before I discovered why. After our regular Monday night game of five-a-side, Craig revealed the biggest appeal of his new job was his favourite lunchtime ritual. Not content with eating a sandwich and reading the paper, Craig preferred to relax by going to the toilet and removing all of his clothes before meticulously folding them up and placing them, and his shoes with his socks in, on the cistern, behind the privacy of the cubicle toilet door. He would then proceed to have a comet wank over the customer who he had most taken a fancy to during the morning shift. A comet wank.
So if somebody fancied coming in, he'd log it.
He'd log it, get new. Deep done, he'd pop the uniform back on and head back out to the shop floor to sell VHS recorders to the masses.
Wank.
God.
Oh, God.
Brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, you know where to come. Comet.
Hey motherfuckers. I'm back. I heard you lot have been asking for Series 1 robot to make a return. Well, here I am. Feeling pretty cocky as it goes. So much love for me out there in podcast world. Really nice feeling. I'm the motherfucking top dog robot and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh. And might as well do a recap. That bloke used to wank in Comet. There. Done. Comet wank. Comet wank. Come on. Come on. Mama. I like you do a comet wank, baby. Gossip number 2.
22 years ago, 2 families we knew from school swapped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dad 1 stayed at the top of the Shire on the farm.
Fucking hell. When was this? 200 years ago?
22, actually.
22 years ago, sorry. 222 years ago. Top of the fucking Shire. What about? Field?
Yeah. Dad 2's wife and 3 sons and 1 daughter moved 10 miles to the top of the Shire to live with him. Dad 2 stayed at the bottom of the Shire.
It's like that fox and a grain and a
Yeah.
chicken.
It's exactly like that, yes.
Dad T stayed at the bottom of the Shire, where it's more civilised.
Stop saying fucking Shire.
Dad One's wife and 3 daughters moved 10 miles to the bottom of the Shire to live with him. Not a wife swap, but a full family swap. All in. And then he just says, mental. And that's it. So stupid.
I reckon he's gone, oh. He looks back and he goes, oh, and he sent the first bit.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah, it just says, new line, mental.
Mental. That's it.
I kind of wish all of them were like that.
Yeah.
Something's going on in the Shire. Not quite sure what. Could be a number of things. You know what country folk are like. They get up to all sorts. Dirty, dirty country folk. Very dirty. Sick. In fact. Gossip number 3.
So this is from Anon. Boarding school is a funny old place. Night times would be even creepier. There would be us all tucked up in bed, the lights are out, and then walks in a teacher. We'll call him Penfold. He'd shine a torch over our faces as we slept to make sure we were actually asleep. I could never normally sleep in that weird place and would just scrunch my eyes up tightly and hope the torchlight would go away. He would walk to the end of the dormitory. He would walk to the dormitory, swing on his heels and head back. Then he was gone and more weirdness would ensue. The Japanese student would shout orders in Japanese in his sleep. One of the guys walked up and down the dormitory shaking his tablets.
His what?
Tablets. He obviously had a pod tablets.
Oh, I thought tablets meant like balls or something.
We were sworn that this particular chap was nearly a 40... Sorry.
What?
We swore this particular chap was actually a 40-year-old man rather than a 13-year-old boy.
Oh, God.
A lot of people called him the narc.
No.
Some fucker was always wanking too. You could tell with the creaking bed. And
This is hell.
and one kid once started quoting The Exorcist
What a great room.
to the dorm captain in his sleep. It's one flew over the cookie. One of these odd nights, we heard some gossip. Oh, that's not even it. Fucking hell.
God.
It was late, and Penfold had done his rounds, and the dorm captain had popped out of the fire escape to have a cheeky fag. My pal, who in brackets slept next to me, and I heard their conversation that we have never been able to forget since that fateful evening. Apparently, that night, one of the boys who had a deformed hand that was shaped like a croissant.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too.
I just got a great image.
Yes, Poppy's not sorry.
I'm not sorry. Croissant hand.
He was naturally known as croissant.
God, that
Well, of course.
Was caught touching another boy with his croissant-shaped hand.
oh, God.
The witness was, of course, sent into shock and ran to tell our dorm captains about what he referred to as the croissant job.
Oh, God. I'm worried about this person. That's
This
done
is
it.
bad as well, isn't it? We both had to hold in our laughter, especially as my pal was giving me the wanker gesture with his hand shaped like a croissant. That was pretty much the gist of the conversation we'd heard. Within days, the wildfire had spread and people were starting to use their breakfast to describe what happened. to those who weren't in the who weren't in the know. One guy used a crusty croissant and a little sausage to show us exactly how and what had happened. Whilst others walked about with butter splattered croissants in their hands. And then threw them at each other, pretending the butter was jizz. It was all a bit weird. Did he want to be croissant?
Honestly, the last 5 minutes, all I'm doing is laughing at this croissant-shaped hand in my head. This image.
Can
That
I ask,
slammed
did the
into my
guy
head.
got croissanted off? Did he want it?
I don't know what you mean.
Well-
Is this abuse?
Yeah, the pupils in question seemed okay about it,
Okay.
which always made me
Heavens.
question about its authenticity. Boarding school was rife with this kind of gossip, even as I was at the even I was at the butt end of one. Apparently, I got a boner during the cough and drop examination. I didn't, but there you go. Right, so I think they wanted it.
Okay.
I think they were croissanting each other off.
Right. We're just going to check the
We're just going to
details.
check that no one was croissanted when they didn't want it.
Against their...
No one was croissanted against their will, were they?
Joe's just going through the fine...
Yeah,
with a fine
we're going to get the
comb.
legal department involved. It was caught touch. Yeah, so they were caught touching another boy with his croissant-shaped hand.
And was that other boy happy?
The witness was, of course, sent into shock and ran to tell the door.
Into
Yeah,
shock.
I think they were croissanting each other.
Wonderful!
So why not? Why fucking not?
Croissant hand. Hand shaped like a croissant. Pretty basic stuff really. Except this croissant hand was wrapped around the penis of a teenage boy. And my word. Was he enjoying it? Just a bit. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. It doesn't feel quite right talking about teenage boys' penises. Not in this current climate. What with me being a 53-year-old robot. Croissant hand, croissant hand. Croissant hand.
Croissant hand.
Croissant hand.
Hand shaped like a
Hand
croissant.
shaped like a croissant.
Croissant hand.
Gossip number 4.
Yeah, this is from Office Boy.
Oh, I like him already.
Yeah. At the tender age of 18, myself and a best friend were trusted to work together in a serviced office. Basically, we rented office space where we provided each office with a reception and we were responsible for all their needs. We had this one client we hated called Caroline.
Sounds really normal. They
Yeah.
just hate her.
She used to love complaining about us. She was very Scottish, and for some reason this didn't help.
Right.
Anyway, every morning we would have to deliver all the posts to the different offices. We hated this job, so we invented an elaborate game to decide which of us had to do it. It involved trying to bounce a rubber in a bin on the other side of the room. The game got to such extremes that we would play a mini game first to decide who got to choose which rubber we used.
I love it.
This would sometimes delay us by an hour and cause the post to be delivered late. After a particularly epic game that went on for over an hour, our enemy, Caroline, complained about our lateness. This enraged us, and rightly so in my opinion. To get our revenge, we hid her orthopaedic chair in another office.
God.
It turns out this chair was worth over £1,000.
This is really boring.
To our horror, she called the police and reported the theft. The next day, in our panic, we decided to dismantle the chair into as many pieces as we could. Then put all the
stupid
pieces
idea.
into individual boxes and carried them down to the bins.
God.
Unfortunately, this causes our pre-post delivery game to be late and the post to be delivered at a record late time. What followed was another complaint and a bit of finger pointing about Caroline's stupid chair.
Caroline's done nothing
She
wrong.
hasn't done anything.
Well,
She
she
just
might be a
want-
prat,
She
though.
just wants her fucking post.
Well, yeah.
Don't blame her.
We were understandably very cross and put out by this and decided to get our revenge. Caroline used to use an annoying headset for her phone calls. The microphone part would set millimetres from her mouth.
Oh, God.
Early in the morning the next day, my friend broke into her office, pulled his pants down and got into a squat position.
Oh, God.
He then inserted the microphone into his anus as far as it would go.
This is Caroline's headset. The voice bit.
Yeah.
The Janet Jackson.
Yeah, yeah. The Janet Jackson up is Janet Jacksy. When he pulled it out, a little brown nugget
Of course.
stuck on the end.
I thought you didn't like shit stories, don't you?
Wow.
One in round.
Yeah, this is high quality. We both decided to do a sniff test. It was horrendous. The worst thing was he left the nugget on it.
Oh,
I can't even keep up with what this is
yeah.
revenge for what?
Yeah.
for basically asking for a post on time. Got fucking, it's just for being efficient.
We then ran off as fast as we could, laughing. Later that day, Caroline showed up and was her usual angry self. Oh, I'm gonna throw up. When she came into our office to complain about something, she had the headset on. I laughed so hard in her face that I wet my pants.
This is so puerile.
I had to go home, I was so wet. And I had to pretend to be ill. Caroline left not long after.
Such a basic human. Do you know what? Everyone's grown up with those two lads, haven't they? Just a couple of idiots in an office job, not working properly and blaming everyone else. Just do your fucking job, lads. Why is Caroline being mean? Because you're fucking useless. I'm totally on Caroline's side. Fucking wankers.
Oh, my stomach.
Jesus.
Two incredibly immature little office twats who thought that inserting a headset microphone into one of their rectums was a sensible thing to do. To be fair to them, I think I'm in agreement. Caroline sounded like a right moany old Scottish dart. nugget. Nugget on the end. Yucky nugget. 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 Nugget on the end. Yucky nugget. Gossip number 5.
This is from Anonymous. Where I grew up, we had an infamous local fella who, although he had a house and indeed a family, he would more often than not be seen hammered and trying to fight off flies. By this, I don't mean he stank and flies gravitated towards him, but that he would stand there trying to physically fight the flies, fists swinging wildly in the air, his face a scrunched up ball of pissed up anger. Let's call this terrifying stray Danny. One Sunday afternoon, whilst enjoying a kickabout with a few mates, coats for goalposts, Danny turned up, shirt off, waving a can of McEwen's. He set himself up a short distance off and proceeded to give the flies a good kicking. When all of a sudden a shot goes unsaved and the ball comes to rest a foot away from Danny. Like cowards, we were all willing to give up and go home. Until one of us, the saintly Simon, said he'd go and get it. Simon is the nicest bloke you could ever meet. And would do anything for anyone. For no other reason other than to help out. We, on the other hand, were not so lovely.
I'm so in now.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Simon? Lovely, lovely Simon.
I'm scared.
I am as well. It's like fucking Stephen King.
Danny playfully tried to dribble the ball and nutmeg Simon, to which Simon played along until he could get the ball far enough away from Danny's feet that he could pick it up and return to the pitch. Danny followed Simon. And the only solution to his insistence in joining our game was to let him go in goal. He seemed quite happy with this and stood there with his top off, can in hand, shouting, "No chance," at us repeatedly. No chance. No chance, mate.
I can picture this all so well.
No chance. The upshot was we all hung further and further back down the pitch, away from Danny, taking fewer and fewer shots at him. No chance. Simon, however, being too nice, didn't want to upset him,
No.
and so still played the odd easy ball, which Danny would stagger towards, managed to get... which Danny would stagger towards, managed to get his body in the way somehow, and then shout, "No chance." No chance. Eventually, a shot was played which smacked Danny full on in the face, sent him toppling over on the goal line. Before his body had even hit the grass, every one of us had run off. Every one of us, that is.
Except Simon?
Except
Oh,
Simon,
Simon.
who was left all alone to make sure his new best mate was all right and to pick up our coats. This was the first time this had happened, though. ...
Oh, God. Please don't make us wait till next week.
A few years before, the same group of mates all went to the boys' brigade together. And one of the fun activities we got up to involved trying to get a medicine ball from one end of the hall to the other.
What has happened to the story?
We said this
gone
isn't
back
the
in
first
time.
time
Oh,
this
this
has happened.
isn't?
Yeah.
No, this
Yeah.
this wasn't the first time this has happened, though.
Sorry.
So yeah, a few years before, same group of mates were at the boys' brigade together, and one of the fun activities was we got up to involve trying to get a medicine ball from one end of the hall to the other whilst the other team tried and stop you. One of the officers was a very ancient chap who was in his late 80s and would shuffle about smoking his pipe, almost oblivious to the rest of the world about him. One Friday evening, whilst we were mid-murder ball, he decided to cross the hall with a pint of milk in his hand to go and make a cuppa, just as saintly Simon threw the heavy medicine ball across the hall. It made full contact with the ancient one's head.
Oh, God.
Before it hit the floor, every single one of us had run out or found a bloody good hiding place. All except for Simon. He suddenly found himself in a deserted hall with an 80-year-old man floored by his own hand. He says he can distinctly remember watching the milk bottle fall and roll on its base in a slow motion before coming to rest. Stood up, having not spilt a drop. Simon went away to teach English to foreign kids abroad, and we didn't see him for a few years. When he returned, we treated him like a long-lost hero and had a night out in Exmouth on the booze in his honour. To show him how much he was loved, whole plants were pulled up from the flower beds along the seafront and presented to him as a bouquet, and much fun and laughter was had by all. Until the police, having seen our antics on CCTV, pulled up and arrested Simon. After all, it was he that was in possession of the stolen flowers and shrubs. He ended up being given a caution for his floral misdemeanour. And being the lovely, nice bloke he is, never complained once about any of it. Rumour has it that despite that caution being long wiped from his police file, he still comes clean about it on job applications and in interviews, as he feels it's better that it comes from him rather than they find out later.
Oh my God, I so love Simon.
I do
He's
as
such a
well.
nice man.
I'll marry Simon.
I'd marry
Oh,
Simon.
I would as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, Simon, you're the nuts.
A bit of gossip about a nice man called Simon. Saintly Simon. The nicest man in the world. A man who does nice things all the time. 110% nice. Nice. His friends, on the other hand? Oh, absolute wankers. The lot of them. Absolute wankers. The lot of them. Simon. Simon. Lovely, lovely Simon. 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 Really lovely Simon. Gossip number 6. Celebrity. Harriet Kemsley.
Hello, this is Harriet Kemsley and I've got a rumour. So back in Canterbury there's this club, it's called Bars, so it's like a sheep but a bar twice. And then on one side there's like a normal road where you enter the club. And then the other side is like the dual carriageway. And then 20 feet up there's just a random like door in the wall, but like it doesn't lead to anywhere because it's just air. And then my friend Ed told me that his friend Pete, he went to the club and he was dancing, but then he leant on the wall and he fell out the door. And then he was suddenly on the dual carriageway and he was like, oh, and he had to run off the dual carriageway. And then he was a bit shaken and he went back to the club and he told the bouncer, I fell out the door onto the dual carriageway. And then the bouncer didn't believe him because he thought he was on drugs. And so then he knew that his friend stashed a change of clothes in a bush where it was. So he went and changed into his friend's clothes and he went back because the bouncers never remember your face, they just remember your clothes. So then he got back in again and he went up to the same place to try and investigate, but then he fell out the door again. And on just a dual carriageway again. But nobody saw it either time, but he swears that it's true. Just kept falling out the door, and I don't know what happened to him after that.
If you want to take the stress out of Christmas shopping this year, meet Klarna. No, that's not the name of my new dog. Klarna lets you shop now, pay later at over 4,000 online retailers across the UK. It's the most hassle-free way to shop. There are no fees or interest, so you can enjoy Christmas and, wait for the dog-based pun, press pause on payment. Pretty happy with that, actually. To find out where you can use Klarna, visit the Klarna shop directory at klarna.com/shops-UK.
This autumn, as the nights draw in, beat the cold with Now TV. Curl up with the latest blockbusters, including Bohemian Rhapsody and Hotel Mumbai. Plus, with over 40 new movies added each month, from Aquaman to How to Train Your Dragon 3, Now TV's got you covered, wherever you feel like watching. Get cozy with the latest and best movies for just $11.99 a month. Search Now TV today. 18 plus month passes auto renews unless cancelled. Terms apply.
If you would like to send in a bit of unsubstantiated gossip, then please email gossipmongers@yahoo.com. All names will be changed to protect the innocent. Gossip number 7.
This is from Michael. All right, guys. There was a girl in the year above me at secondary school who not many people knew her name. Everyone knew her as Sweaty Poo.
Oh dear.
Rumour had it that she had a shit once and it came out perfectly covered in sweat.
Oh, God, that's made me angry. It's freaked me out.
Poppy's angry. Like it was wrapped up in cling film with no creases or nothing.
What do they mean? No creases or anything.
How could you have a sweat?
I remember thinking it was weird, everyone calling her that. But if you said, all right, Sweaty Poo, she'd usually just say, all right. So I guess she wasn't fazed by it.
Deep down,
Keep up the good work, Michael.
I like that.
Michael couldn't be bothered to add any more detail. That'll do. Did it on his walk in, didn't he? Typed it on his phone, sent it. They'll never read that.
Well, you're wrong. We have, and it's in.
Fucking hell, they put it in.
God.
Sweaty Poo.
I sort of admire the lack of effort.
Yeah.
Sweaty Poo. Sweaty Poo. Sweaty Poo. Sweaty Poo. I'm in love with you. You're my Sweaty Poo. I've heard the story about your Sweaty Poo and I have to say I've fallen for you. I've heard the story about your Sweaty Poo and I have to say I've fallen for you. Sweaty Poo. Sweaty Poo. I'm in love with you. You're my Sweaty Poo. Sweaty Poo. Sweaty Poo. I'm so in love with you.
I've heard the story about your Sweaty Poo and I have to say I've fallen for you.
My sweaty sweat. Poo. Poo. Joe, Poppy and David will now choose their favourite rumour.
Okay, so I'm going to read out the top 5, and we're all going to privately write down which we think is the best, and then reveal it
at the same time.
Yeah. So, number 1, Lovely Simon.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2, Sweaty Poo.
God almighty.
Number 3, Croissant Hand.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
Number 4, Comet Wank.
Okay, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And number 5, Caroline's Headset.
Oh, my God. I thought I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind 3 times.
I'm
I'll do it
struggling
again.
now.
Number
Okay.
1, Lovely Simon. Number 2, Sweaty
I
Poo.
need to change.
It's like a little song.
Yeah.
Number 1, Lovely Simon. Number 2, Sweaty Poo. Number 3, Croissant Hand. Number 4, Comet Wank.
Lullaby.
Number 5, Caroline's Headset. Okay.
God,
Right,
this is
I've
quite
changed my
hard,
mind
actually.
3 times.
Right.
Never done that before. I was so confident I was going to go for the... You growling makes good podcast.
Yeah, shit, I saw it. Fuck, it's not easy, is it?
No,
It
I
isn't,
quite like
it
these
isn't,
ones.
Yeah.
I was really sure, and I
Yeah.
changed. I'll show you mine, and then I'll tell you what I was going to go for.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you now.
No one's going to copy you,
I
David.
don't know if this is
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not sure.
right.
No, I'm stuck between 2, but I've gone. I've gone for.
I'm not sure. Sorry. I'll cut all this.
I'm going to give you 5 more seconds.
Okay.
5, 4,
Right, yeah.
3, 2, 1. Pens down.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
On the count of 3.
On the count of 3,
Okay.
we'll reveal which ones we've chosen.
Should we shout out? Reveal and shout.
Yeah, go on then.
Okay. So 1,
1, 2, 3.
Croissant hand.
Caroline's Headset.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Oh, God.
Oh shit!
Caroline's
She
Headset
was in my
won.
top 3.
I nearly went with Simon.
I nearly went with
I was
Simon.
like,
nearly
oh
went with
yeah,
Simon.
Simon.
My
And then
Simon
I was like,
was my.
shit.
I'm going to go with Simon, and then I totally forgot about croissant hand.
Wonderful moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
agree, don't we?
Sort of.
Yeah, I think we always.
Although
did
we've
that.
never really done it this way.
It's good shouting them out. I like shouting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's
Caroline's Headset.
right. Poppy, open the window.
Okay.
Get some hers
So
out.
Poppy's now going to tell the world.
Yeah, go on.
Right.
Okay,
What
she's
size
opening
of-
the window. There we
What
go.
size of crowd we got out there?
Okay.
Is it dwindling?
30 odd.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
Less than last week, though.
Yeah.
Go for it.
How did it go? I can't not do
Chuck
it.
them in.
There was this woman with a.
Do you start with the lads?
Lads. Oh yeah, some lads not doing their postal work, playing games. They hated Caroline.
Because she's Scottish.
Oh yeah, she's Scottish, and she has a orthopedic thing. So,
Correct.
Chair.
chair. So they,
Thing.
to get her back for doing nothing, they steal it and then dismantle it and get it out of the office. And she keeps on annoying them.
People downstairs are wondering why they bother to turn up every week.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then she continues annoying them and they get a headset when she's not looking, and one boy lad puts it up his anus. Then takes it out his anus, and there's a tiny nugget of poo stuck to it.
Okay.
They all have a sniff.
I forgot that bit. Well done. That's stuck in your head.
Now she's flowing.
Smells awful.
Don't
And then they put it back where it was, and she comes in, and she's angry. And I think it's still on there. Is that right?
Could you
Something like that. It's all right.
You left out my favourite bit. They laughed in her face.
Oh yeah, they one of the lads was laughed in her face and pissed himself.
Yeah, just repeated. And in no more detail. Oh yeah, and then they laughed in her face. Let's close that with.
Hey!
Oh God!
Oh right.
I think it's because I'm in a bad mood.
You are in a bad mood.
Yeah.
You are in a bad mood.
Do you think it's?
Why are you in a bad mood, Poppy?
It's contact lenses and stuff like that. Yeah.
Contact lenses.
Yeah.
Don't take much to put you in a bad mood.
Is your other half gonna get it tonight?
What? Because I dropped the contact lenses.
Because you're in a bad mood.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Get it.
Well, get it.
Get it.
Sorry, I don't mean it.
What do you mean? Have sex with it?
No, that's what I thought you meant. I was like, fucking hell, David.
I didn't mean
Are you going to
that.
have some angry sex? What? Fucking
You're
nutty
gonna have
old
some
bit.
violent sex. That's what's going on.
You're going to
is it?
beat each other up and have it off.
Ooh, lovely.
I can't wait. I hope
I
so.
bet you can't wait for you to drop. Once a year, she drops her contact lenses and go at each other. I literally went in shock you asking
So I
that.
didn't mean that. I didn't mean that, but
No, do
You're
you
gonna
mean
have sex tonight.
yeah.
you're
You're
gonna
gonna have sex with your bloke tonight.
You're going to shout at him, do you mean?
Yeah. You're gonna give him.
Might
what
do a
for?
bit of both and
That
just
means sex- that means sex
confuse
as
him.
well,
Yeah. Confuse him.
Yeah. There you go.
He thinks he's going to get it, but what she ends up getting is a right telling off. He's all revved up. Do you know what? You annoy me. Oh. Night.
Can't wait.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Weird
Okay.
way to end.
Yeah.
David asking about your sex life.
It's fine. Ask away.
Yeah. And that's all from us at Gossipmongers.
Bye bye.
You're
Are you
going
gonna
to
get
it
it?
tonight? What?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, David.
Love it.
I wasn't there when you said it's okay.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. That is the end of Series 2. We will be doing a little Christmas special, where we are going to meet some of the people who sent in our favorite bits of gossip this year. So keep an eye out for that. But, until then, thank you again. And please, keep sending in your juicy gossip. We'll be back spring 2020 with Series 3. Bye bye for now. We are nothing without you. Remember that. Nothing. Bye bye. Until the next time. Gossip Mongers. Bye. So many memories. The Smiths, Chippo and the Bum Trick, the Washing Pebbles Woman, the Wanking Circle, Randy Dolphins.
So many memories. The Smiths, Chippo and the Bum Trick, the Washing Pebbles Woman, the Wanking Circle, Randy Dolphins, Boss Oyer, the boy who sat on like saddle poles. and space war 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 and space war.